From the 10th Avenue and TV, welcome to the news at 6, live and direct from our studios here. And my name is El Samuels. The news is also live across our social media handles on MBN 360. Let's first take a look at the headlines.
High Court rejects the OSP's bid to suspend ruling on independent prosecutions. In business, GNPC courts partners to unlock Volta Basin petroleum potential. And on the international front, BBC reports claims Russia linked to arson attacks targeting Prime Minister.
This and many other stories coming up. The High Court has dismissed an application by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, OSP, seeking to stay execution of a ruling that prevents the office from undertaking certain independent prosecutions pending federal legal proceedings.
The High Court has refused an application by the Office of the Special Prosecutor to stay in the execution of a previous ruling that halted the office's ability to proceed with certain independent prosecutions. The OSP had sought the stay pending the determination of further legal processes, arguing that allowing the ruling to remain in force could affect its mandate and ongoing anti-corruption efforts. However, the court ruled against the application, meaning the earlier decision remains effective until any appeal or subsequent legal challenge is determined. The development marks another significant chapter in the legal dispute surrounding the powers and prosecutorial authority of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Legal observers say the ruling could have implications for ongoing and future cases being pursued by the Anti-Corruption Agency, while also raising broader questions about the interpretation of the office's statutory powers. The Office of the Special Prosecutor was established to investigate and prosecute corruption-related offences and corruption-linked activities in both public and private sectors. It remains unclear whether the OSP will pursue further legal action, including an appeal against the latest decision. The case continues to attract public interest as stakeholders monitor its potential impact on Ghana's anti-corruption framework and the administration of justice.
Another story, Hajia Hannatu Abubakar has called on Ghanaians to embrace this year's National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service theme, resetting our values and building the Ghana we want, describing this as a timely call for national reflection, unity, and responsible citizenship.
As preparations intensify for this year's National Prayer and Thanksgiving Day, Ghanaians are being encouraged to reflect on their role in shaping the nation's future. Speaking on Morning Focus with El Samuels, Hajia Hannatu Abubakar, a member of the National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving Committee, emphasized that the theme, resetting our values and building the Ghana we want, goes beyond religious observance and speaks directly to the nation's development agenda. According to her, Ghana's progress depends not only on policies and leadership, but also on the values and attitudes of its citizens. She noted that integrity, discipline, patriotism, accountability, and respect for one another are essential ingredients in building a prosperous and united nation. Hajia Hannatu explained that the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Initiative seeks to bring together people of all faiths and backgrounds to reflect on the country's journey, express gratitude, and seek divine guidance for the future. She stressed that resetting values requires collective responsibility, urging Ghanaians to demonstrate honesty, hard work, and a renewed commitment to national development in their daily lives. The committee member also highlighted the importance of prayer and thanksgiving as tools for fostering peace, social cohesion, and national renewal, at a time when the country faces various economic and social challenges. As the nation prepares for the observance, organizers are hopeful that the event will inspire citizens to contribute meaningfully towards the Ghana they desire.
I'm very honored this morning to share some reflections on the National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving, guided by the theme for the 2026 observance, which is resetting our values to build the Ghana we want. The theme reminds us that nation building is not sustained only by infrastructure or policies. It is sustained by the character and values of the same people. Understand? It is sustained by the character and values of the same people who implement these policies and live by them. So, the theme also reminds us that nation building is not the sole responsibility of the government, but collectively, as one people, we have to come together towards a common and shared goal. Our mission here is very simple. Our mission is to unite Ghanaians in prayer and thanksgiving by delivering a successful and dignified observance or a service for national peace, progress, and God's mercy for our dear nation, Ghana.
Now, moving on to the other story, the Chief Executive Officer of the Power Telco Business Limited, Engineer Dr. George Ekufo, is calling on household businesses and public institutions to prioritize lightning protection systems to safeguard lives, building, and critical equipment during the rainy season.
As Ghana experiences increased rainfall and thunderstorms, concerns over lightning-related incidents are once again taking center stage. Speaking on Morning Focus with El Samos, Engineer Dr. George Ekufo, Chief Executive Officer of Power Telco Business Limited, a subsidiary of the Electricity Company of Ghana, emphasized the importance of lightning protection in preventing injuries, fatalities, and costly damage to infrastructure. According to him, lightning strikes pose significant risks to residential buildings, commercial facilities, telecommunications infrastructure, and electronic equipment, particularly during periods of intense rainfall and thunderstorms. Dr. Ekufo explained that properly installed lightning protection systems can safely direct electrical surges into the ground, reducing the risk of fires, structural damage, and equipment failure. He also urged the public to adopt basic safety measures during thunderstorms, including avoiding open spaces, staying away from electrical appliances, and seeking shelter in safe structures. The engineering expert further called on property owners and institutions to invest in certified lightning protection systems and conduct regular inspections to ensure their effectiveness. He noted that with climate variability contributing to more frequent extreme weather events, preparedness and preventive measures have become increasingly important. The discussion forms part of ongoing public education efforts aimed at improving safety awareness and protecting critical infrastructure during Ghana's rainy season.
Lightning is actually a threat to life and property. And normally we experience lightning during rainy season. We have different types of clouds, but this particular cloud that causes lightning is made up of high particles, not these high particles. It's like you have a battery that is suspended in the atmosphere. So the top of the cloud is positively charged, and the base is negatively charged. Now, when more of such cloud started, the air that is supposed to insulate the charged particles from the earth, it gets to a point the air can no longer hold or insulate the electric charges. So what happens is that the charges who are accumulated in the cloud will now tend to ionize the air heading towards the earth. So they move through a tunnel. This tunnel is called a conductive tunnel. In their path of descent heading to the ground, they get to a point. That point is somebody at the point of discriminating. That is where the light will select the object to hit. Now, at the point of discriminating, a strike zone is established. If you happen to be within a strike zone, you will be hit by the strike. So, other objects or human beings that happens to be within the strike zone, you call it a strike. Now, the strike is attractive to sharp object and anything that is sharp. If you have a sharp object within that strike zone, what happens is that because within a zone, there is a strong electric field, the sharp object will now ionize the air vapor around, and then you will land something we call upward moving streamers. These streamers will be looking at the one that is coming from the side. And once it intercepts the one that is coming down, they will see the flight and will say, lightning has occurred. Now, when lightning strikes, is what you see. The flight is the lightning. What follows after the strike is thunder. So, the thunder is the sound. It's like you have a welding machine and you are welding an object. When you are welding an object, the light you see is the flight. But what you hear associated with the welding, that is the sound you see. Now, what happens is that when lightning strikes, it radiates a very strong electric field. Any electrical conductor that a sphere that is within the field of the radiation will pick a high voltage, and that high voltage will be directed to the equipment. So, assuming the equipment is connected to that electrical wire or conductor, then you expect that the equipment will feel, especially if there is no protection on the equipment. So let me explain it this way. When lightning strikes, we need to protect our structure, that is the building, against the strike. Apart from protecting your structure against the strike, the building also houses equipment. So in addition to protecting your structure against the strike, we need to take steps to protect our equipment within the building. That is why in most cases, you see buildings, on top of the buildings, we have lightning rod. What a lightning rod is doing is that it will capture the lightning and it will direct it down. So you must have a very good etching system to decide the energy that the lightning rod has collected. If your etching is not very good, the lightning rod will capture the lightning, but you will not be able to direct the lightning to ground.
Now we move away from the story to the court, where the High Court in Accra has dismissed an application by lawyer Andy Appiah-Kubi to withdraw as a counsel in the ongoing Samariboy illegal mining case involving the NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Mtwi-Botiaku, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi.
The High Court has refused a request by lawyer Andy Appiah-Kubi to withdraw his legal services in the ongoing Samariboy illegal mining case linked to Chairman Wontumi and Akonta Mining Limited. Appiah-Kubi had filed a motion seeking the court's permission to step aside as counsel, citing concerns over the conduct of proceedings and expressing disappointment with some decisions made during the trial. He argued that his continued involvement could affect his ability to effectively represent his clients. However, the Attorney General opposed the application, raising legal objections on grounds including jurisdiction, capacity, and standing. State prosecutors argue that the issues surrounding the withdrawal required judicial determination before any approval could be granted. The case, which centers on allegations that Chairman Wontumi and Akonta Mining facilitated mining activities without the required ministerial approval, has attracted significant public attention due to the national debate over illegal mining, commonly known as Galamsey. the accused persons have denied all charges. The court's decision means Appiah Kubi remains counsel on record as proceedings move toward a judgment date fixed for July 3, 2026. The ruling is expected to shape the final stages of one of Ghana's most closely watched mining-related criminal trials.
The way to go is this: how we operate. 3 months, having filed a notice of appeal, have filed additional grounds of appeal, everything, we're done. We expect that we will settle records. By now, maybe the appeal will have been heard. 3 months, the docket is still in the court. We can't get to the registry for records to be settled. And is this justice or is it an attempt to frustrate the hearing of the appeal? This is one of the reasons why we are also withdrawing. And today, we were in court. We saw what happened. The court is now becoming bailey. I was served by an officer of the court sitting a notice of preliminary legal objection. And is this done? Ordinarily, bailies are not supposed to even serve parties in the courtroom. We are served outside the court. I think it is ethical, rather, for a lawyer to do that and explain why, for the court to understand the disengagement, rather than for the accused person to come to court and inform the court that my lawyers have withdrawn. I think we wanted to do the better thing for the court to appreciate why, and also to demonstrate our commitment to our client up to now. And the words of the judge say that we have abandoned. Do you see any abandonment in the relationship that I have with my client? The answer is no. I have not abandoned him. But it is for reasons like what happened today that I wanted officially the court to be informed of decisions that we have taken as counsel.
From the courts, we move to the presidency, where the President John Dramani Mahama has accepted the resignation of former Chief Justice Sophia Akuffo from the Council of State, with government confirming that steps are underway to appoint a replacement in accordance with the Constitution.
Government has confirmed that President John Mahama has accepted the resignation of former Chief Justice Sophia Akuffo from the Council of State and has initiated the process to fill the vacancy. The announcement follows reports over the weekend that the former Chief Justice had stepped down from the Constitutional Advisory Body after months of absence from its meetings. Sources indicate that Justice Akuffo submitted a resignation last year, although details surrounding her decision have not been publicly disclosed. Sophia Akuffo, who served as Ghana's 13th Chief Justice from 2017 to 2020, became a prominent figure within the Council of State during deliberations surrounding the removal process of former Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo. She was the only member of the council to abstain from voting on whether a prima facie case had been established against the then Chief Justice. According to government, constitutional procedures have been activated to identify and appoint a successor to ensure the council continues to function at full strength in its advisory role to the president. The Council of State is mandated to provide counsel to the president on matters of governance and national importance. While the presidency is yet to announce a replacement, officials say the process is ongoing and a nominee will be named in due course. The resignation marks the end of Sophia Akuffo's tenure on one of Ghana's highest advisory bodies, adding another chapter to the distinguished public service career of one of the country's most respected jurists.
The Deputy Commissioner of the Electoral Commission, Samuel Tete, has officially retired from office after years of service, with the Commission confirming that processes are underway to appoint a successor with the constitutional procedures.
The Electoral Commission of Ghana has announced the retirement of its Deputy Commissioner, Samuel Tete, bringing an end to his tenure at the country's electoral management body. Mr. Tete is reported to have exited office after serving in a key leadership role at the Commission, where he contributed to the administration of several national elections and electoral reforms over the years. In a brief statement, the Commission acknowledged his service and indicated that steps have begun to identify and appoint a replacement to ensure continuity in its operations. The EC noted that the transition process will follow established legal and administrative procedures, with a new deputy commissioner expected to be named in due course to support ongoing electoral activities and preparations for future polls. The retirement comes at a critical time as the Electoral Commission continues its work on strengthening electoral systems, voter registration processes, and institutional reforms aimed at enhancing transparency and public confidence in Ghana's elections.
And that's how we wrap up the major stories for this evening bulletin. We're going for a quick commercial break. Coming up next is Business After the Breaks with Na Dede Gogo.
Hi, welcome to Shiloh Guest House, where comfort meets warmth. Our serene environment and cozy rooms provides a pleasant stay. To book a room with us, call 055-5940-103 and 0241-972076. Locate us at Teshinungwa Estate, number 8 Coconut Street, directly behind A-Life Supermarket. Shiloh Guest House, where comfort meets warmth.
Welcome back from the break. My name is Na Dede Gogo. In business, the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, is engaging strategic partners to accelerate exploration and development activities in the Volta Basin as part of efforts to expand Ghana's hydrocarbon resource base and attract fresh investments into the energy sector.
The Ghana National Petroleum Corporation is intensifying efforts to attract technical and financial partners to help unlock the petroleum potential of the Volta Basin. According to the corporation, the basin remains one of Ghana's most underexplored sedimentary areas, with indications of possible hydrocarbon deposits that could significantly boost the country's long-term energy security if commercially viable reserves are confirmed. GNPC says it is adopting a partnership-driven exploration model, bringing in experienced international and local investors to share risks and deepen geological studies. Seismic data analysts and exploratory drilling activities in basin. Officials explain that the strategy is part of a broader national push to diversify Ghana's upstream oil and gas portfolio beyond already producing offshore fields, while also positioning the country to benefit from new discoveries in frontier basins. Energy sector analysts note that successful exploration of the Volta Basin could open a new chapter of Ghana's petroleum industry, potentially creating jobs, increasing revenue, and strengthening the country's energy independence. However, they caution that Exploration is frontier basins in capital-intensive and requires sustained investment, advanced technology, and strong regulatory coordination before commercial production can be realized. GNPC maintains that it remains committed to ensuring that Ghana minimizes value from its natural resources while maintaining environmental and regulatory standards.
Also, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, MOFA, is set to roll out a new nationwide initiative combining precision farming techniques with improved fertilizer distribution to strengthen food security and boost agricultural productivity across the country.
The Ministry of Foods and Agriculture, Ghana, has announced plans to intensify efforts aimed at improving food production through the introduction of precision agricultural technologies and a more efficient fertilizer distribution system. The initiative is expected to support farmers with data-driven farming methods, including soil testing, targeted input application, and the use of modern agricultural tools designed to increase yields while reducing waste and production costs. Officials say the program will also address long-standing challenges in fertilizer access and distribution, ensuring that inputs reach farmers in a timely and transparent manner, particularly in rural farming communities. MOFA believes the integration of precision farming will help shift Ghana's agricultural sector from largely traditional practices to a more technology-driven system capable of responding to climate variability and raising food demand. The ministry adds that the initiative forms part of broader national efforts to achieve food security, reduce import dependence, and strengthen agribusinesses' value chains across the country. Agricultural experts have welcomed the move, noting that improved input distributions and smart farming practices could significantly enhance productivity, especially in staple crops such as maize, rice, and vegetables. MOFA is expected to begin phase implementation of the program in selected regions before expanding it nationwide.
Let's go for a break. Up next is sports and entertainment with Farah Ayi.
Welcome back from that break. Up next is sports with me, Farah Ayi. And now in sports, the Executive Director of the African Center for International Law and Accountability, William Nyarko, says the principles of presumption of innocence and national sovereignty must not be compromised, even amid growing public scrutiny and international pressure surrounding World Cup-related controversies.
The intersection of law, governance, and global sport was brought into focus on Morning Focus as the Executive Director of the Africa Center for International Law and Accountability, William Nyarko, discussed the theme Presumption of Innocence, Sovereignty, and the World Cup. Speaking with El Samuels, Mr. Nyarko stressed that the principle of presumption of innocence remains a cornerstone of democratic societies and the rule of law. He noted that individuals facing allegations should not be judged guilty in the court of public opinion before due legal processes are completed. According to him, while sporting bodies have a responsibility to protect the integrity of competitions, they must also ensure that decisions affecting players, officials, and nations are guided by fairness, evidence, and respect for legal standards. Mr. Nyarko further highlighted the issue of national sovereignty, explaining that countries have established legal systems and institutions that must be respected when handling matters involving their citizens. He observed that tensions can arise when international sporting regulations intersect with domestic legal processes, particularly during high-profile tournaments such as the World Cup, where public interest and media attention are at their highest. The ASILA Executive Director called for a balanced approach that protects both the integrity of sport and the fundamental rights guaranteed under law. He emphasized that justice must not be done but must also be seen to be done, adding that safeguarding due process strengthens public confidence in both legal and sporting institutions. As debates continue around the role of international sporting bodies and national authorities, Mr. Nyarko believes adherence to the rule of law remains essential in preserving fairness, accountability, and credibility.
Yes, you have to have your eye on the legalities. Okay, so I am calling this number of players. Which of these players may have character issues related to circumstances like parties, and then you do an analysis, a legal analysis of the country they are going and the country's requirement for entry, for example. And then you'll be able to take proactive steps. So in Party's case, for example, they should have known that it was likely that Canada will not allow him in. So that in the event that it came down to that decision, what action would they take?
What action?
What corrective action? So these are proactive things that you do. And it was clear to me that if this had been done, the decision could have been taken at either one, expecting him to stay in the U.S. and the team would just go and play, or when they send his application in, they would take some expedited steps, especially work from the diplomatic angle
for it.
to get this out.
Up next is entertainment. And now in entertainment, award-winning Ghanaian reggae dancehall artist Stonebwoy has announced an album signing event in Paris for his latest project, Torture 2, scheduled to coincide with France's annual Fête de la Musique celebrations.
Ghanaian music star Stonebwoy is set to take his latest project to the international stage as he announces an album signing event in Paris for his new release, Torture 2. The event is expected to take place during France's widely celebrated Fête de la Musique, a global music festival that brings together artists and fans for a day of live performances across the country. Stonebwoy's announcement has generated excitement among fans, particularly within the African music that are expected to gather in large numbers for the signing event, which will also serve as a celebration of music, culture, and artistic exchange during Fête de la Musique festivities.
Now that's all for sports and entertainment with me, Farah Ayi. Up next is international news with El Samuels.
Welcome back from the business desk. Sports and also entertainment. Is now time to turn our attention to the foreign front, where the BBC has reported that Russia operatives believed to be behind a series of arson attacks allegedly targeting the Prime Minister in what is being described as a part of a wider pattern of covert destabilization activities.
A new investigative report by the BBC has raised serious allegations suggesting that Russia was behind a series of arson attacks targeting the Prime Minister. According to the report, intelligence sources and investigative findings point to possible involvement of Russian-linked operatives in orchestrating or supporting the incidents, which are said to form part of broader covert operations. The alleged attacks are being described by security analysts as part of a growing trend of hybrid threats combining sabotage, misinformation, and covert influence campaigns aimed at destabilizing political systems. The BBC report indicates that the incidents involved coordinated actions intended to target key political figures, raising fresh concerns about national security and international espionage activities. Authorities in the country concerned have not publicly confirmed the claims, but are said to be reviewing security protocols and intelligence assessments in response to the report. Russia has in the past denied involvement in similar allegations, often dismissing such claims as politically motivated or lacking credible evidence. Security experts say the latest report, if substantiated, could further heighten tensions between Russia and Western governments.
Now let me turn our attention to the West African state, Nigeria, where a retired military general who was adopted by unidentified assailants has reportedly died while still in captivity, according to emerging security report, raising renewed concerns about insecurity and kidnapping trends in the parts of the country.
Retired Nigerian military general who was kidnapped by unknown gunmen has reportedly died while being held in captivity. Security sources and local reports indicate that the former senior military officer was abducted earlier, and efforts to secure his release were ongoing when news of his death emerged. Details surrounding the circumstances of his death remain unclear, including the exact location of his captivity and the identity of the kidnappers. The incident has sparked renewed concern over the rising cases of abductions targeting both high-profile individuals and ordinary citizens in parts of Nigeria. Authorities are yet to officially confirm the reports, but security agencies are said to be investigating the circumstances surrounding the kidnapping and alleged death. In recent years, kidnapping for ransom has become a major security challenge in several regions, prompting calls for stronger intelligence operations and improved national security measures. The development has also drawn reactions from sections from the public and security analysts who describe it as a troubling reflection.
And as I will wrap up this evening edition of the News 6, live and direct from our studios on the 10th Avenue Extension, Grade X8, Nungwa at Dogona. But before we take leave of you, let's take a second look at the stories making headlines.
High Court rejects the OSP's bid to suspend ruling on independent prosecutions. In business, GNPC courts partners to unlock Volta Basin petroleum potential. And on the international front, BBC reports claims Russia linked to arson attacks targeting Prime Minister.
For more news, log on to NBN3 Sustain. We'll be back again same time. We want to say thank you for joining us. Have a good evening.